Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you very much for that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, way down south, right down towards the bottom of the world, below the roaring 40s, in that belt of latitudes known as the Furious 50s, where the wind howls out of the southwest across 10,000 miles of pack ice, there is an island. An island just 23 miles long and only 3 miles wide, a long slither of rock which pokes above the surface of the sea. But an island so rich in wildlife on its discovery that a mile out to sea on the leeward side you could smell the animals. You could smell them. 18,000 elephant seals. 200,000 fur seals. 3 million penguins. Where does it lie? It's roughly equal distance between the south coast of Tasmania, the southern end of New Zealand, and that great white continent, 1.5 times the size of Australia. Okay, that is the introduction to a story which goes about 45 minutes. Would you be disappointed if I stopped at that point? Yes. You would be, right. So the point being made here is your introduction has to introduce the topic, which in this case is the wildlife of the island, and also do it in such a way that the people want to know more. They want to know what follows. I'll give you another introduction. The year is 1936. The place, the great Olympic Stadium in Nuremberg, Germany. 80,000 blue-eyed, blonde-haired Aryans are there to listen to the Führer all day long. The gun carriages have rumbled by, the tanks have squeaked by, the jack-booted stormtroopers goose-stepped by. And then a hush comes over the audience. And there, flanked on either side by huge 50-foot-high crimson banners bearing the black swastika of Nazi Germany, is the Führer himself. He has already been speaking for nearly 30 minutes, and now he's rousing the crowd, whipping them into a frenzy. And as he reaches the climax of his speech, up goes the arm, as you've seen it so many times in the movies, Sieg! And a great rush goes up from the crowd, Hail! Sieg! Hail! Sieg! Hail! And then it suddenly becomes quiet. Obviously, the climax has not yet been reached. The quiet becomes a murmur, and then they hear something approaching the rim of the great stadium. They hear the sound of engines. They look up and they see something coming across, filling the whole sky, casting a deep shadow right across the stadium. And they are introduced to the world's greatest flying machine, the biggest flying machine which has ever flown before or since that day. A huge machine, 804 feet long as 2 football fields. It comes across being propelled by 4 enormous 1,100 horsepower diesel motors. Casting its shadow across, it gradually moves across the stadium and goes into the distance. Would you like to hear more? Obviously you would, because this is an introduction to a speech about the airship Hindenburg. This is the sort of way you introduce a speech so that they know